see if your project downloaded. You called it Pokemon main, right? Fa? Or no, you left it at farm? Wait, my bad.
What?
No, never mind. I'll find it.
Yeah, the folder that I compressed was farm.
Yeah. Let me see. I just confused myself.
But the zip file is called
Farm. Well, the actual file is called farm, right? Yeah, I got it. Oh, you put everything in. All right, that's fine. I got it. All right. All right, so I got all you got is your projects. Let me see if I have mine. Yeah, I got mine. I got Faz, Ishes. Oh, I didn't import berms. Hang on. All right. Let me see. I'm seeing an error for berm. Let me see what this is about. A lot of it is, so I'm getting an error here. Not really sure why, but a lot of times it could just be, it could just be a bug, so don't worry about that. We could still look at the actual code. Obviously I won't get to, well, let me see if I could run it. No, some kind of linkage error.
Is this mine?
No, this is berms, but yeah, disregard that. We'll just look over the actual code. But did you guys all like?
Oh, I was muted. Oh, you gotta import Charmander, I think.
Oh, you didn't import Charmander? No, it's not it. It would usually tell me there's some kind of other separate error, but yeah, don't worry about it. Otherwise, it would underline it. You see, there's just something else happening over here. Yeah, you should import Charmander, but that's not the reason. It's not a big deal. But did you guys all make sure to check? I know Berm, you checked to make sure everything was working in the console, right?
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean like just run it?
Yeah,
right?
just run it to make sure it works. Because
So I do have a few questions, unless you're gonna.
no, go ahead. Let me just make sure Faz and Ishes runs. I think I checked Ishes to make sure it ran. This is yours, right, Fa? Execute.
Yeah.
All right. Yep, that looks good. And Ishes, I checked before, but let me check one more time. Yep, looks good. All right, the only thing I'm having a problem with is berm, but it's not a big deal. You had a question, berm?
Yeah, it's a few things. First the accuracy thing.
Yeah.
How did you want us to do that?
So we'll get into that. And I'm glad you guys each had your own version of the accuracy system. So ideally, you see here, you know how each Pokemon should have its own accuracy, right? Based on the games, each Pokemon has its own accuracy attack points, right? So what you did in here, so obviously you all of you started the same way at the execute class, and then you had your all you did was instantiate the constructor and you just let it run. So whatever happens in the background. That's all expected. If we enter the battle class, so this is when we could actually start getting into it. So the only thing here is, so I'm looking at Berm's project right now. So let me minimize Faz and Ish to make sure everything makes sense. So I mean, I didn't actually get a chance to read it, but you know, in the beginning, most of you did start the same way. I didn't check Faz, but Ish also started the same way. Um, Obviously, you saw that each Pokemon would have its own HP, and obviously, it would decrement until it hit below or below zero, because an attack could be greater than its current HP. Like if Bulbasaur attacked Charmander with the um, attack point of 5 when it has an HP of 0. Obviously, another thing you could have hit is like you have to make sure to handle negative values.
So
Yeah,
I took that, but I don't know if I did it the best way.
that doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but the only way you see if it's optimal is after you do it a few times. So off the bat, the main thing obviously is like you didn't do the accuracy part the way I wanted it to. So you put mat.random. So the thing I wanted was obviously, since each Pokemon would have its own own accuracy points. This is only talking about. Let me see.
It's just random.
It's just completely random, right? It doesn't pertain to any one Pokemon. So it could be like I don't remember the games, but I'm like, let's say Charmander had a better accuracy than Squirtle. Obviously, this is not reflecting that. So this is just random. This is saying, and all of them have the same accuracy point. So that
was all my questions. If you wanted each one to have its own.
Yeah. But you kind of get the idea, and you would have been able to do it. The only thing,
the random function to do that.
Say again.
If each Pokemon has its own set accuracy value, why would you need the random function?
So you need to put the random function inside the Pokemon class, right? Let me show you how Ish did it. So his is more cleaner because he used a lot more abstraction. Like let's put it up. Let's put yours, and that's also something I kind of want you guys to get used to. Ish is already used to it, so obviously he's going to be naturally, better at compartmentalizing. But just off the bat, like you could even tell right away, the left panel is yours, the right panel is his, and his is like off the bat, it's a lot more easier to kind of, look through. So he he put as like a little side method here. You don't need to do this. You could have just put it all in here, but for instance, he could have put all the logic in there, but he just decided to use a dual method just to give it make it a little more descriptive, which is fine. So let's see what he did. So as you can see, let's compare yours too, and then we'll look at Faz after to see what he did. So this is Berm's. This is this is Berm's. This is Ish's Ish dual class. A dual method. He hits it right here. He takes in the Pokemon in from the execute class, and this is how he starts. So obviously, you guys started the same way. You get HP of the Pokemon. While HP is greater than 0 and HP 2 is greater than 0. And let me see if Ish did the same thing. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. And let me show you guys what I did. I did go this route at first, then I realized something. And these are just like, little tweaks. This is perfectly fine. But let me show you what I did. So obviously I have a lot more. I decided to bundle everything in the same way like Berm did. Mostly because I just kind of wanted to get through the logic, but Ish did it best out of all three of us, because this is more abstracted, easier to read. You usually don't want your logic all on the same page. But what I did was I just put a while true. Can you tell me why I decided to go that route? So this loop would just keep running. Anyone want to have any guesses? Let me expand it. So let me open mine up. Mine is all the way in the right.
Oh, while what is true?
So I just put while true. I decided to let it run like that. You know how you guys had the while loop right here? While HP of 1 is greater than
So it's a
0.
Boolean, but
Say again?
what you're saying is true.
So anytime you put a while and then you put a true here, this just keeps running regardless until you do something which I think I missed, but actually you got. So, you know this concept yourself. So basically, a while loop is just going to keep going forever, infinitely, unless it hits a breakpoint, and then it busts out. So what?
I think he's asking he's asking what is true, but what it is like, even if you like look at yours, if you do Pokemon 1.get HP is less than 1, like that is returning false or true, right? So you're just skipping that part. You're just saying this is true. Like whatever I'm sending you, it's true. And yeah, I get why you did that. Like so you don't have you just have a check, and if it's below 0, then you just break out, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I guess that's simpler. Yeah.
Right. So I try to make it kind of verbose. Sorry. So I tried to kind of verbalize it a bit, to see, to show you why I did it. So you can kind of see it here. So anyone want to try to like just read this part and see what I'm trying to do here? And let me put up okay, instead of doing that, this is the is successful attack method. That's the only side method I ran, right? So just read this part because you can see the is successful method, and just try to read what I did here.
This is the Pokemon 1 name.
So I took the Pokemon, right? And then I got in the top part, I got all its little characteristics. I got the accuracy, got the name, the attack of Pokemon 1. And for Pokemon 2, I got the same thing. Accuracy, name, attack. Right? So everything, all the values I'll ever need is right here. And then I just manipulated it over here. Well, I didn't manipulate it, but, I used it. My question is, how you guys use the while HP 1 is greater than 0, while, and HP 2, which is valid, right? Because you want the while loop to keep going until one of them hits 0 or, less than 0. This, I think... Never mind. Yeah, so just what do you think I'm doing here? Ish, you want to give it a shot?
Yeah. So first you run is successful attack, right? Which gives you whether it's an attack or not based on like their accuracy.
Right.
And then if that happens, then you run get HP, which alters that other Pokemon's HP. And then you're checking like after you change Pokemon 2's HP, is it now 0 or below? And if it is, then you break out of the while loop, which I'm guessing then determines a winner.
Right. So basically, the reason was this is going to run forever, but because of this logic, I know for a fact that the way I have it prepared, it's just expected to keep decreasing, right? And if I have it here, obviously all the HP starts at whatever, like a number greater than 0, and then while it keeps decreasing, it'll break, right? So I know eventually it keeps decreasing and then it'll break. So my logic is if it decreases the HP and if it's noted to decrease, why even reference the HP here? Because I know it'll eventually hit 0, right? Does that make sense? So it's just going to be true. And since I'm setting the HP lower and lower, see Pokemon 2 to get HP, I keep subtracting the attack points and then it keeps getting lower, right? So I know for a fact this is going to keep decreasing. That makes sense?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me keep going. So let me close mine out. because I'm more interested in what you guys did.
Let me see your is successful.
Say again? Oh, yeah. Let me bring that out. All right, so this is mine. Let me put that to the side again. You were saying is successful attack? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
let me go over that. So look at that for a second. What do you think I did? So this is just another function I decided to use. Ultimately, that was up for you to look up if you wanted, but Ish found out. I mean, Ish did it just fine without it, without the floor function. You didn't need it. This is just what I. So basically, what the floor function does, if you guys ran it a few times, you'd see that you'd get a a long string of a floating point number. So like 0.5678910 or something like that, right? So I took that 0.567 or something like that. I multiplied by 100 to give me a round number. So like 56, but it still has that fractional point, right? 56 point something. And then the floor just tells me if it's a fractional number, just, take that, take those extra fractional parts out, right? And so it would become 56, like something round and nice to use. And for accuracy, all I said was as long as accuracy of that Pokemon is greater than that number, right? So the higher the number, the higher the accuracy, the more likely it'll hit, right? So so for instance, if like Charmander had an accuracy of arbitrary value 74 and Bulbasaur had a low accuracy like 33, obviously Bulbasaur would hit less, right? Because Bulbasaur's accuracy is 33, right? That's the accuracy. And with this math.random, you'll never get like a whole value by itself. You always get, at the highest, you'll get like 0.99999, something like that, right? If you multiply that by 100, the highest you'll get is 99 point something, right? 99.99999. You'll never get something outside of that if you multiply it. And then if I floor it, the highest number I'll get is what? What do you think?
99.
Yeah, exactly, 99, right? Obviously, in that case, Charmander's accuracy isn't high enough. It's 74, right? And then it'll miss, and I'll show you why that is here. But if that floor function, if this complete statement returned like a 64, because accuracy of Charmander is greater than 64, it'll hit. But Bulbasaur is going to miss because its accuracy 33 is going to be less than less than 64, which makes this false, right? Or not makes this false. I mean, this statement becomes false, so it doesn't even execute. It doesn't return true. You return false. So let's see it happen in real time. So is successful attack, right? And the best way to do this, I know you're not going to get much, if anything at all, just by me explaining. But once you kind of, once I push the code, we'll all have our codes up here. So basically, upcoming, we're just going to keep adding features to the Pokemon project, simultaneously while we, grow up our automation framework. But basically, if you look at it here, all I did, which is what Ish kind of used a lot. Actually, Ish didn't really use too much of it. He just referenced the Pokemon classes a lot. So point is to abstract it a lot, right? So it kind of reads like English. So I said it's like if is successful attack Pokemon 1 accuracy. You could even just tell it by right here, like is successful attack Pokemon 1 accuracy. I got the accuracy right here, right? I took all their points, accuracy, name, attack points, and all I'm saying is successful attack Pokemon 1 accuracy. So it's like I'm gauging Pokemon 1's accuracy, right? And in this case, Pokemon 1 was Charmander, and the random function returned to 64. This gives me a true statement. Returns true. And then obviously that means Pokemon 2 is taking the hit, right? Because I'm gauging Pokemon 1's accuracy. It passes, means the hit will be successful, right? Because, Pokemon 1 attempts to attack. And then set HP, obviously you get to set HP, and you get the current HP, and just you subtract it by the attack of Pokemon 1. Did that kind of make sense? It's going to make a lot more sense once I push it and you get to review it. But mine necessarily is not the most optimal way of doing it. I just try to keep it more verbose. What do you think?
So what did you put in for the accuracy of each?
Oh yeah,
Each.
let's see. We could go into each and see. So let me go towards the Pokemon classes. So here are my Pokemon, and you'll see that it's very so I got my Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. Okay, so obviously these values are gonna extend into Pokemon. So 1, 2, 3. So HP, attack, accuracy, right? So basically the fourth parameter, because the first parameter is gonna be the string, second is HP, third is attack, the fourth is gonna be accuracy. So I put 80 for Squirtle, 90 for Charmander, and wherever Bulbasaur is, where's 85 for Bulbasaur. So roughly around the same. And this would be the HP, attack, and accuracy. That makes sense? So yeah, so basically each one have their own individual values. So that's the only thing you missed. All right. So let's see what else you did. All right, so you use a random function, which means you didn't account for any of their accuracies. That's fine. That's just something you got to change.
Higher than 0.5, it attacks. If it's lower than 0.5, it doesn't attack.
Yeah. And that's for either Pokemon. Basically, just didn't count their accuracy points. And this, you're saying if the HP... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the problem there I was having is that sometimes, like, if the Pokemon's HP is 2 and the attack is 3, I would get a negative 1.
Yep.
So that was the only... I just did that as a quick fix. I don't know if there's a better way to do that.
No, that's fine because usually, though, if you want to... Obviously, it's not like... the most obvious thing. I get your logic because we all went through the same thing, right? That's just the logic. That's just the thing we'll all hit, period. Just based on if the HP is less than the current attack point, or the current HP is less than the attack point, obviously you'll get a negative answer, so you'll find a workaround. But in these cases, usually if you feel like the logic doesn't make sense to the naked eye, like you're supposed to assume that I'm going to read it without you being, over my shoulder. So in that case, you usually want to say like, you kind of want to explain the logic right here so it makes sense. Like I did that over here. I didn't do it as much as I should have, but let me show you what I did. So I have, I put little comments here, and Ish mentioned it before, where if you're, so I said run this battle until one of the Pokemon's HP hits 0. So yeah, like you said, the first thing you questioned me is questioned was, why is it, true? Obviously, because I know the simple inline, when you're seeing it, it doesn't really make sense until you actually went through the logic. So at that point, I'll just put it in plain English. Run this battle until one of the Pokemon's HP hits 0, right? And I faced the same issue you did, right? Where if the Pokemon's get HP is less than or equal to 0, clearly it fainted, right? Because it got hit with a 0 or less, right? So I said, but obviously it's it's not quite obvious, right? You'd have to know offhand that how attack points are, which I don't assume. So I just put HP can dip below 0 if attacking Pokemon. So I explained it right here, same thing I'm telling you guys, right? And I put the same thing over here, same exact logic, just so there's a pattern. You can kind of see the same shape taking form even visually. And let me see what else you guys did. I mean, the rest of it looks good. Yeah, same thing, same thing we did. And here's, let me see, slightly different. Okay, here's another thing. And let me see if Ish did the same thing. So Ish actually, what he did was, you know how yours and my battle classes are big. He put all the logic in Pokemon, which again now I don't really want you guys to worry too much about what's optimal or not, as long as it doesn't, as long as you're not getting confused in the code. All right, so let me pull up my Pokemon class, and I'll pull up yours as well. Actually, let's pull up Faz now. Pokemon's. All right, so that was your. Let me pull up Berms as well. Let me pull up your abstract Pokemon class. And here's something Berm actually did right. And I don't want to say right in this to discourage or to downplay what Ish and Fa did. Let me show you. Let me just exit everything because I'm getting confused by the abstract classes. All right, so one by one. First is Berms right here. Actually, let me open mine first. So Bic, Berm, Fa, and Ish. So what Ish and Fa did, let me pair theirs up next to, yeah, so Ish and Fa have most of their logic in their, let me read it for a second. Fa, what did you put as your accuracy points? Like, what did the numbers look like? Let me see.
I kept them as a double value. Like, so I at first I was gonna have them like 0 to 100.
Yeah.
But it's like, why not just keep it double? And I just like,
Oh, like a fractional number.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah,
I could have other ones.
Yeah, you did this because obviously mat.random returns a huge decimal point. Yeah, I see what you did. That's fine. Because I didn't really specify any of the details. Yeah, that's fine. But usually, when you're working with whole numbers, it's better to keep it whole. Just and just in terms of the Pokemon games, I think they leave it as,
whole number.
Yeah. But I can see why you did that. All right. So the reason why I said I preferred how Berm did it, he didn't do all of it right. Because the constructor, I would usually go in the very beginning. I think either works. Like if it ran for you, it's fine. But usually by convention, you want to keep all the constructor methods in the top. But the problem with this, it's like what Ish and Fa did was they used the take damage and attack, and they embedded that in the Pokemon abstract class. And it's clear to see why, because a Pokemon can take damage, it can get attacked, right?
Yeah, I want to put them all in kind of like the battle class, but Ish kind of advised against that.
Well,
and
Ish,
I understand.
Actually, I'm curious to your thought process, Ish. Why you thought? You're not wrong at all. I'm just curious your reasoning.
Well, I was just thinking, for a Pokemon to take damage,
right.
It's not necessarily something that only happens in a battle. Like, I mean, I didn't play Pokemon that much, but like, let's say, I don't know, it's just like some natural event occurs where it takes damage in that way, then all your damage taking logic is in a battle class, when it's not necessarily a battle that a Pokemon's always taking damage. And same with attack, as in like, you have this complex accuracy thing with an attack, but maybe the Pokemon's not always attacking in a battle, and there's like some other scenario where it's gonna attack. So that's why I decided, like, a Pokemon attacking isn't something exclusive to a battle. It's exclusive to the Pokemon, so I put it in there. Right. And I just had the battle because, like, what is the battle? Battle is just like for me, it was just like what facilitates the two Pokemon's battling, not necessarily have any logic in it or actual attacks.
Right, and I'm actually really glad you did it that way. Not because it's the way I would have done it, because I wouldn't have, and I'll tell you why. And I want everyone to pay attention because, what Ish explained is a very, reasonable thought pattern. Like, it makes complete sense in a way. And in this scenario, when you're just considering a battle, right, where if that's the only feature in the game, that makes sense. Like, and you can't really, you can't really critique why he did it this way because it makes perfect sense, right? Take hit, a Pokemon can take a hit. What else? Attack, a Pokemon attacks. Okay, but how about if for the next week I told you, so in the Pokemon games there's healing mechanics, right? If you give it a potion, it restores its HP, the hit points. How would you do it?
I would probably do like accept heal in Pokemon.
Yeah, right. See, but the problem with that is, think of the hundreds of ways you could alter a Pokemon, right? You could do take heal for sure. I get what you're saying. Like take heal, where let's say it receives whatever, like potion. I don't want to say that because it's an integer. Whatever, take heal, fine. Yeah, you could do it that way technically, and you'll put in the logic where you increase the HP, blah 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 blah, right? You could do that, but what? Let's keep thinking. What else could a Pokemon do? A Pokemon could evolve. Yeah. There's so many things, right? And basically, if we keep going down that, pattern, right? Of all right, what can a Pokemon do now? What can it do now? What can it do now? Right? Let's not even say evolve. Let's say this thing's dealing with HP. Let's say it gets poisoned or something like that, where its HP keeps dwindling, or let's even get imaginative. Let's so if you ever played Pokemon, not only can its HP get affected, its attack points, I'm pretty sure. Like I think Leer, there's an attack called Leer where the the accuracy gets diminished, and correct me if I'm wrong, or the attack points get altered. So are you telling me for all of these effects, you're gonna, which is not wrong, right? You're just gonna have a new kind of name for each of these effects. Is that
Fear affects defense, just saying.
Say again? Yeah, defense, exactly. So if I wanted to code in a defense or something like that, let's say I had to deal with all of this, right? So basically with Ish's logic, which is reasonable, but here's the thing, like this, when you come to this point in your programming career, when it's object oriented, there's a lot of subjectivity to it. But basically with Ish's line of thought, or his logic is, with his logic, all you're technically really doing is modifying the attack points, HP, defense, accuracy points. And with the amount of variations or permutations of the effects a Pokemon can go through, think of it, let's go down what he already has. A Pokemon could attack, it could take a hit, it could take a heal, it could do etc, etc, etc. It could, so for instance, if the defense is altered, or the accurate, are you going to say public void, reduce defense, public void increase defense, public void increase accuracy points? You guys see where I'm going with this, right? Public void decrease, and and these are very simplistic scenarios, right? Like decrease defense points. So yeah, you can go in that direction, but the thing is, like, then you're just gonna really overfill this class, right? With every kind of permutation that could happen to a Pokemon. right? And let's see what Berm and I did to alleviate all that. I don't know if Berm you did it like intentionally, but the point is I kept it just to get and set. And getters and setters are like they're huge. They're a major convention for classes. So basically, any kind of effect that comes my way, I know that with these fields and just altering these fields, just by having these getters and setters, I don't have to worry about this being a major dependency in that like I have to keep coming up with a new name here. All I know is, hey, if you threw something at me where it's like the Pokemon gets poisoned, right? Just like I did here in the battle class. Since battle is obviously like the major concept behind it is, the HP is getting affected. All I'd have to do is I don't have to, create a new method saying take hit, right? In this case, you can't really see the benefit of what I did over ish. But the point is, I can set that value just like I could set any other value. You guys get what I'm saying? Like I could set, I could kind of program out my intended kind of feature without kind of having to constantly code up a new method in the Pokemon class. Does that make sense? It's just setters and getters. Ish, did that make some kind of sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, right. So like because I know, as far as I'm concerned, the Pokemon, if it's and that's actually not even just the Pokemon. That's a huge majority of classes overall. If you feel that, think it through. If the class you're in, it's a matter of changing around a few field parameters, right? Don't overload your class with so many methods, right? Because there's always going to be a new scenario where you have to put in new features, and you have to keep changing around these. Your class is just going to really kind of get overfilled. But that's it's just a small critique. I'm not saying that it's necessarily the best way, but it's like a pattern you want to get into. And that's really the point of object-oriented programming. So I don't know if Berm did it intentionally or not, but he kind of followed that pattern where he didn't put the setters in, which is important. So basically what I mean by that is, yeah, he could get HP. Let me see how you did HP decreases, because there's no way here to...
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
At first, like in my abstract Pokemon class, my fields were protected, and then when I was like working on my battle class,
yeah,
it didn't let me work with it, so I had to change it to public. How would I get around that?
Let me see what you mean by that. Let me see if I had the same experience.
Yeah, edit mine, like put it back protected.
Yeah. So basically, I got you. So basically, what happens is the only time when you leave it as protected, you see, I put it as private because, I mean, obviously I'm used to it, and trust me, I hit the same error, same kind of scenario you're going through. But basically, the reason we kept this abstract was why.
So it's not to get instantiated.
Exactly. Because a Pokemon, because then that would mean like if I didn't put the abstract keyword here, that would mean. I mean, just think of it like, just kind of reason through yourself. Why would I put a name to a Pokemon that, and give it an arbitrary HP attack? I'm not even sure what it is, right? So clearly you don't want this instantiated. Protected is if, in the same sense, it's to protect it from...
Accessible.
Say again?
You don't want it accessible, like outside of the package?
Yeah, well, outside of, unless it gets inherited. So for instance, Bulbasaur obviously... or Charmander needs access to that name, right? We didn't put it here. Well, I didn't put it here. I don't think any of you else did either. But basically, let me show you. Let me say, well, we didn't put any methods for Charmander or any of the Pokemon himself. What's something unique to Charmander that isn't in Bulbasaur or Squirtle? Let's say
Fire.
Yeah, but can you think of what was it? Like any of the attacks? Well,
flamethrower?
Let me think, because how we have it programmed, we don't have it programmed in a way where, we're thinking of because they each have their same attack points. Let's say all right, let's say it this way. Let's say anytime he uses flamethrower, any type of specific attack to Charmander, it just returns a string, letting anyone who uses the Charmander class know what I mean by this. Let me tell you. Or let's do it this way. Okay, that is a better scenario. I have to think of that on. Let me think. Hang on. Okay, well, let's just put it this way. Let's say anytime you use a special attack, based on the attack points for Charmander, which is like 3. Let's say for Flamethrower, it augments it. Let's say we programmed it in a way where we decided based on the attack and based on how powerful it is, you put a multiplier effect on it. So let's say Flamethrower is a good attack. So let's say you multiply it by 3. Right, and the attack point is 3. So you guys are with me so far, right? So super attack points. This is the attack of Charmander. So instead of doing this, so let's say
attack times 3 or something.
Yeah, exactly. So this dot. Let's reference it directly. Or let me keep it this way. Let me show you what happens if I do protected. So let me just, instead of it private, let's say protected. And you'll see a bunch of errors now because that's not how we want it programmed. So let's say, or not. So now I put this as protected. Let me see what I can do now. See, now since it's protected, only the Charmander class has access to it. You can't reference it outside, but since it's basically protected, only pertains to anything you extend from. So since Pokemon has that attack thing, like attach field as protected, only the Charmander can have access to it, right?
Wait, yeah, I think the question is because I had it protected, my battle class didn't have access to it because it was outside of the package.
Your battle class didn't have access to this.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
Protected, my battle class has access to it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it didn't give me a problem.
It gave me an issue, so as soon as I changed it to public, like, I didn't have that.
Yeah, but you shouldn't make it public because that means...
I don't know how to, like, get around it. So, like...
Well, show me exactly what you did. Show me your screen.
Yeah, just pull up my code.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
yeah,
we see an error. So let me show you what's happening here. So since I made it private, now this class doesn't have access to it. So it's telling you right here, change visibility to protected if I wanted to reference it directly. But obviously I don't. The only thing I'm interested is since it's private, even the subclass doesn't have access to it. But since it's since it's private and not protected, basically the only way to reach a private class is through the super constructor. But that's fine. All right, which part of your code?
In my Pokemon class and my battle class.
Okay, let me X everything else out. Okay.
Yeah, so if you see, like, if you go to my Pokemon class, you're on the battle. Yeah. If you change the top fields to protected.
Okay, let me comment that out.
My battle class.
Let's say attack points, right?
Yeah. Is it because my battle class is outside of the package? That's why?
Hang on. So, okay, show me how you wanted to use it in the battle class. Oh, I got what
But
you're saying. So
my
you said
code is exactly
Pokemon
the
one dot
same.
name.
But just like there's red underlines under like Pokemon 2 dot health points.
So let me try to modify it right here. So Pokemon, for now, let me see what you're doing. So you're saying like, let's say I just, in this spot, I just wanted to get Pokemon's name. Well, Pokemon one's name, right? So I would say this. You're saying like this?
Yeah.
So you wanted to do that, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm actually glad you brought this up. This is a very important point. So the problem of, making it public, and I could see why you wanted to do it that way, right? It's
Yeah, I know I wanted it protected or whatever, or like closed, but I didn't know how to fix it, so I just left it
no,
public.
that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I know why you did it, because now you could start using it. You could start using the names where previously you wouldn't have. So let's say, okay, let's keep it with the name, and let's say, what'd you say? You left it as protected, right?
Change all those to protected, the
Okay.
field,
Gotcha.
and then you'll see a bunch of red underlines for like,
Okay.
yeah, now you see.
Yeah. So let me pull up the Pokemon you wanted to use. Well, say Charmander. All right. Pokemon Charmander battle. Okay. Let me put them side by side.
I don't fully understand what a getter and setter is.
No, I got you. No, that's actually a tough, not tough in itself, but the reasoning behind it is not easy to grab. So, let me see. I want to do this. So let's start with public first, and let me show you the limitations of keeping it public. I mentioned it briefly, but I get why it's not an easy thing to understand at first. So let me make it all public. And you know what? Let's actually have private fields as well. So let's make it public, 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 public. And this would be private, private, private. Okay. And let's start with public first. All right. So let's see. All right. So you instantiate the class. Right now everything works. So that's a good place to start. So yeah, this is fine because clearly you see that you could access the Pokemon.name. Charmander. Let's assume Pokemon 1 is Charmander. Let me put it here so everyone knows. Assume Pokemon 1 is Charmander, just so everyone could see this progression. So Pokemon 1. Just Charmander, and if you do that, like Foss said, you can, this is going to work. He's going to get the name, which is Charmander. Charmander's been locked here, and it's public. The problem with doing it this way is I could do this.
And like override it?
Yep, exactly. I could do something like that, and you see there's no errors. So what do you think Pokemon 1 is now?
Bulbasaur?
Yeah.
Still with Commander stats, but with Bulbasaur?
Say
I'm
again?
assuming.
Say again?
If you did that,
Yeah.
Would it still have Charmander's stats?
Exactly, right? Because basically, what did you just say the Charmander's other stats are? 23 for what was it for you? Attack, 100 for health, and 0.6 for accuracy. So now assume okay. There's a reason why they put it that way. If it was just you, like you as a coder, you coded Pokemon, you coded Charmander, you coded all the battle classes, right? This was all you. To you, it makes perfect sense, so it's hard to really, understand why they have all these protective measures. But say it was Ish who was trying to code the battle class, right? He's trying to work with his battle class. And you decided to code up the Charmander class, which he's going to use, and the Pokemon class, which he's going to use. And let's say you did this part, Fa, and let's say Ish is doing the battle part. Let's say Fa, you just like you did, you left it as public. Now, if for whatever reason Ish decides in his code, let's say just nonchalantly, and not even fully, just because he can. Let's assume that was the reason. Just because he can, he did this. Pokemon 1.name equals Bulbasaur, right? For whatever reason, he decided with his logic this was the way to go. But now, his logic is twisted now, because now if he ever does Pokemon 1 dot accuracy points, and let's say he wanted, for whatever reason, let's say he just wanted to print all of this out. Now he's going to have the name of Bulbasaur and the accuracy points and the health of Charmander, right? So yeah, you do have a lot more freedom with public, but that comes with huge issues. Like technically, yeah, he could have not done this and went about fine. He could have coded, but there's always the room for he could do that, right? And if you leave everything public, which is why a lot of people hate Java at first, because of all these rules, like you're tagging all these simple in it, but it comes out really handy because think about it. If I just deleted this, right, and there's no compiler errors, when I get my result that is completely unexpected, then it's going to start saying what? Let's say you're getting the attack points of a Pokemon, you're with the name of that another Pokemon. You're going to run through the code for hours or days, right? There's like horror stories of people just like spending entire sprints or what have you for months, even like just trying to find some kind of bug. And this is how bugs originate: bad like protections during compile time. Because here you could see there's no error, right? Nonetheless, that could cause like pretty much like a show-stopping bug off something like that alone. So that's why you need these protections. So that's why clearly, because now public name, making it public isn't great. So let's see what you could have done, or let's see what private or public would have entailed. So let me comment that out, and let me try to do the same thing, except let me now comment out public.
Assuming the class gonna have issues also.
Say again?
Is the Charmander class gonna have issues if you turn it to private?
Let's see. Okay, yeah. Now you see, at least with private, and we'll do protected as well. Just so right here, you could clearly see that there's a visibility issue, right? And this is the perfect time. Like I know we all hate seeing the red, right? But this is the perfect time to see it, because now at least it's easy to fix and you see they have the whole getter and setter concept right here, and I'll explain that why. But at least for now, we know the end user, which is Ish. He's not going to be able to change this even if he wanted to, because the variables are all private. And let's see now what happens with protected. The same thing. Same thing, right? And now, obviously, the natural question is, all right, do you use private or protected? So now let's this is where the getter and setter concept comes in, and let's see what happens if we do right. So instead of this now, and remember, right now it's protected. You could have done this, right? So the idea is, and this, I chose private. I forgot why I did it, but I'm you could have went with protected as well. But if anyone catches an error in that, let me know, because I know I didn't really find a need to make it either protected or private. But protected, oh, that's why. Because, okay.
I have to do that for everyone, right? Like I would have to do get name, get attack points, get health points, get accuracy points, and all that.
In here, since you use the abstract class, you'd only have to do it once, right? Mm-hmm. Because every Pokemon class, you just extend off it, right? And since
yeah. In Pokemon class, what I have to do for all of them?
Based on your use case. In our case, you just kind of have to walk yourself through it. Like, since it's a Pokemon, obviously it'll take hits to the attack points, health points, accuracy points. So that's kind of up to you. Usually, in most cases, yeah, like the getter and setter, I'd say like 90% of the cases, it's usually good to have it.
Okay.
Yeah. But Yeah. Oh, I left it as private because there was no need to use it in the subclass.
So, like, since you added a public string get name, return this name. So in my battle class, I would have to put like in my if statement, the first if statement in my battle class,
Right here.
Pokemon. Yeah, or I mean, yeah, in the line above actually, the system out print line. I would have to put Pokemon one dot get name.
Exactly. Right.
Oh.
So basically, the idea is, and why we go through this whole, almost redundant, seemingly redundant way of doing things, is if you do public on the method, right? Well, what do you think? Why do you think we do it this way? Or why do you think we go through all this redundancy?
I'm not exactly sure.
So, you know how before, since we left this variable, which is the ultimate kind of, think of it as a storage mechanism, right? If you store it in the name, you could put anything in the class, right? But with this method being public, so just like this tag is here, we could have made this protected. We could have made this private. But why do you think we made it public?
So it's accessible from anywhere?
Right. Because for Ish, he still needs to get that name, right? We don't want him to change the name, but we want him to use the name, we put for Charmander, right? But we don't want him to modify it. How do you do that? Well, with the getters and setters, you can safely protect the variables. So obviously a Charmander, the way we wanted a Charmander to be, we wanted the name to be like this, and we have a very strict way of assigning the attack HP accuracy, and we don't want that to change. We don't want the end user to change it, right? Because we want him to have functionality, but not to a sense where he's almost screwing himself over by winding up having too much control, right? So instead of letting him directly change the values, which this could completely alter your logic, expose him to a little bit of it. And the way to do that is with a method, right? Because a method, since it's public, he can access it, but at the same time, it has access to the variables because it's part of the same class, right? So name, yeah, other classes don't have access to it, but this being inside the actual class means all the methods have access to this class. So if it was up to me to change that name, I could do it here, right? And nothing would, there would be no errors, right? So this would return Bulbasaur plus ASDF, concatenated. That's my prerogative. That's for me to do. But that's not up for Ish to do, right? And it's just mainly that, just to offer that level of control or lack thereof. That make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know, because this is kind of tough to get.
Yeah, I'm just using the fields, I guess, and I should probably use a method next time.
Yeah, that's the only difference. I know why you refer to fields being public. I used to do that a lot until this is kind of like a higher level concept to get, and it doesn't really chime in, and I doubt even my explaining right now will really sink it in. It's basically until your code base is large enough, which is why I do want to keep adding to this Pokemon project. I think next time, well, I'm not going to reveal what I want because I want that time constraint to be there. Because the only time this will sink in is if you make a really big mistake, like with the really big bug, and then if you look back and you realize if you just had put those checks in place, it wouldn't have been as bad. So that's why a lot of people hate Java at first, because you're not understanding, because Java, unlike stuff like JavaScript doesn't enforce all these rules. But that leads to major bugs, and they have a whole system for it just to implement what Java already has from the get-go, which is these kind of checks, so you don't make a huge error or a bug later down the line. But yeah, don't worry too much about it as of now. Just kind of get used to the practice of it. So I'll leave your code as is. Let me see. So this is still Faz battle class. Yeah, so like I said before, with what Ish did and what Fa did, you could give a lot of functionalities to a class, but then you'll end up overloading it, and you could it's a slippery slope to. Let me open up Ish's.
Yeah, originally gonna I was originally gonna have the tag and that in the battle.
No, I'm glad. I'm really glad Ish did it because otherwise it wouldn't have made sense. Because that's what, if you think of a Pokemon, yeah, a lot of things could happen to it. And I put this in, but you know, right now I'm trying to think of other ways a Pokemon could affect it. Like poison. It could get poisoned. It could heal up. It could thing. I don't know, just like any type of variation you could think of. It doesn't mean you want a method for every single feature. A lot of people will do that, like even in the real world. It just like perplexes me because it leads to really bad code in the sense that if you ever look at a class with like if there's too much is going on, you don't even want to read it. Like it's almost like it's so badly structured because Eclipse comes with the features where you could just tab through it, right? Like if I tab this health points, I'll see what you're referring to. So there's no reason to overload the class, and that's what ends up happening if you do it that way. But that's a small tidbit. But other than that, you guys did really good, honestly. Like I was really impressed. But keep it sharp in your head because my idea is all of it relates. Even when we go through automation, which is what I'm about to start. All this ties in, and you'll see how the little abstractions in your Pokemon class would help you in automation and vice versa. But let's end this part here. It was a good review, and you guys did really good on the project. But look for it because I'm gonna push it in all of yours in GitHub, and then we'll just keep adding features. Like I'm thinking next we'll deal with a leveling system. Like if a Pokemon attacks enough. Let it level up to Ivysaur from Bulbasaur into Venusaur after. I don't know for all of them. So put that in your head. All right, now we get to finally start automation. So today I want to start off very simple, and I want to set up your machines because unfortunately that's what you just got to do from the start. But before that, we got to set your machines up. So let me pull up Safari. All right, look up Maven in your machine. Just say Maven install. And everyone should be doing this. And don't worry about what Maven is for now. We're gonna start. We're gonna go over it slowly. It's a little much to explain, but you'll come to know what it is when you soon use it. So go to Maven install and click this. Let me see, what is it? Maybe it was Maven download. All right, no, that's better. Okay, my bad. Maven download, and since everyone's using a Mac, where is it? I'm pretty sure it's the tar.gz file. So just download that.
How did you get to that page?
Let me see, because this is Maven download. Oh, just Google up Maven download Mac.
I don't. How do I do?
Oh, you're in here?
Which one do we download? The first one?
Let me see. Let me make sure, because I don't want you to. Yeah, download that first one, and you're gonna get this zip file. Let me open it up.
Is this like for QA stuff?
Yeah, you're gonna need it. So once it's in your download folder, let me know.
I got the folder downloaded.
All right, give me a second. I'm trying to see if there's an easier way to do it. All right. I'll open up your terminal and cd into this directory. So cd. Let me clear this. There's a lot going on here. Damn, I forgot how to clear. All right, never mind. Just cd into this directory, and then open it.
Wait, hold on. Do that again.
Yeah. So
What are you doing?
So open up the terminal. So I got the download and I open up the zip file. So I have everything over here.
Yep.
This one.
Yep.
So CD into the file?
So now you have it in downloads. Don't worry about that for now. Just leave that over here. Now open up your terminal and CD into /opt. And
No such file or directory.
Really? There's no CD opt for you?
I have it.
How about you, Berm and Fa?
Oh,
You guys-
I don't know if what I have is correct. You want to see my screen?
If you could CD into opt, it's enough. Why? What do you see?
Mine says, hold on, let me just show you.
Okay.
I did. This was be like this?
Yeah. So anytime you get a blank field right after, that means you've successfully entered.
Like this
Yeah,
percent.
mine says it doesn't. Mine says no such file or directory.
Okay.
Unless is it because I'm in my? How do I go back to the root directory? Hold on.
No, that shouldn't matter. But that's fine if you don't have it. We'll just make a new directory.
Wait, what?
It doesn't matter because we'll just make a new one.
Can you share your screen again? Like mine has that percentage symbol.
Give me a second.
That's fine. Shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, because I want to keep all our environments consistent. So Berm, it's fine because you can just make that directory. So Berm, do this. CD into the root folder and then type this. So mkdir opt. After you CD it into the root folder over here.
Permission denied.
Oh, you can't make it in the root
Are you
folder.
using your admin account? Or is this like...
Yeah, it should. Yeah.
No, that's fine. All right, so in that, because I want most of us should have. Fa has the opt
Do I
folder.
have another admin account?
Yeah, it's fine. It's
My
fine. It's
thing
fine.
is different than yours.
Do this then. Forget about because sometimes they do protect the root directory. So go into your workspace directory, everyone, because I want all of our environments to be consistent. Oh, what happened to workspace? Desktop
workspace directory? You mean the thing we first did?
Yeah, you should have a workspace, right? In the desktop.
It's in
Yes.
git, whatever, git test.
But do you have a thing?
Place desktop, right?
Yeah, remember we put it in the desktop? If not, then
Yeah.
just create a new folder. We can start a new. It doesn't matter.
Well, what we did was we made a git test folder. Then we put a workspace inside that git test folder.
No, that's fine then. Just create a new workspace folder then. We'll start a new topic.
On the desktop.
Yeah.
Am I going inside Code Boost?
There's a code boost folder inside workspace.
Yeah.
No, not for now. For now, just stay inside that workspace folder. And let me know when you guys are in there.
I'm in.
I mean,
You're in? Okay. Now make a directory called resources. So now you should have the resources folder. Now open up that resources folder.
Okay.
Okay. Now go back to your downloads and let me make sure this is yep. Let me make sure for myself. Yep, this is it. Okay. Now copy this, whichever Maven you downloaded. It should have it should have 7 items. Make sure Mac tells you it has 7 items. I don't know why it's downloaded.
mine has 7 items.
Okay. So copy this and put that in that resources folder.
The entire folder or like the contents?
Yeah, the entire folder. Everyone good so far?
Yeah.
Burn file?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay. Now rename it to just Maven. Okay. Now do this. Go back to your terminal and open this up. Well, type exactly this.
Can I leave that screen so I can?
Say again? No, it's fine. If you're in your terminal, it doesn't matter. And once you type that out, just hit enter.
Wait.
It says that bash profile does not exist.
Okay, that's fine. In that case, do this. Touch bash profile. And you put the squiggly line too before it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the new one? Where'd you put?
So
After, if it doesn't exist, touch?
yeah, touch space squiggly line / dot bash profile.
Okay, that worked.
Okay. I don't need it because I already have one created.
Yeah, that worked for me.
So you guys are good for that? Okay, now put this first command in.
Open?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay,
did you
now
get
it opens
did you get
something.
You guys should have an empty text
Yeah.
edit, right?
Yeah.
Mine is completely empty.
Yeah, it should be empty.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Okay.
Yeah, since you guys all... And Fi, you had one from the beginning, right? You didn't have to create a new one?
I had to create a new one.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Ignore this, what I typed for brew path. That's something else. But for this, start out with this key. Type out it exactly as is. MVN_path.
Do you want to just like send it in chat? Because easy to make a typo.
Okay, hang on. Let me do that for you. Actually, I'm gonna change this around because you know how I had it on actually let me change mine too. Just so I'm in the same space as you guys. So all right. Okay. I think actually it's better if you don't really need to worry about a typo because you saw what I just did there, right? I put the Maven folder in here and I just dragged it to the terminal. So all you need to do is make sure that Maven path is as I did it. And I will copy and paste this though. It's not gonna be the exact same thing because brew is referring to something else, homebrew. You don't need that, but you'll see what I mean.
How do I get the file path?
Drag the folder.
Yeah, you drag it in, so it'll go right to your Maven folder.
Okay.
Yeah. And let me know when you've done that.
I did that.
Okay. And did you
copy and paste that into it?
Yeah. So
We do export.
yeah. Just the only thing you don't do is put in, well, don't look at this because the thing I pasted in the chat is export path equals.
So the one in the chat.
Yeah.
I just pasted whatever you put in the chat.
Yeah, that. So outside of that, you guys have this, right? You know what? Let me not even make it confusing. Let me take out brew. This doesn't matter. So yours should match mine. So does your guys' bash profile look like mine's? Mine?
Yeah.
No, mine is still empty.
Where have you been pasting it?
In the terminal. I thought you said put it in the terminal.
No. For the terminal, it was just to locate the Maven folder. So this is what I did. So obviously for Maven path, right? I needed to go to that Maven folder I put in the resources folder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to get to that, clearly it goes through a bunch of folders. I drag it over, right? And that goes from the very first root folder over to the Maven folder. You copy that and you put that in the Maven path variable. That make sense?
Say that again.
So let's start from the beginning. So first of all, well, let me I think it'll make more sense if I show you guys my bottom screen. And don't worry, we'll spend the rest of today to make sure everyone's environment is set up, because I don't want that to affect this.
Did you do anything else? I was on because my screen is small, so I can't.
No, that's fine. I think you're good, but let me make sure Berm is on this. So you know how you created the workspace folder, right? Just now.
Yep. Yep.
So I opened it and I created a resources folder underneath it, right?
Yep.
And that was to put in the Maven folder, right?
Yep.
So you have so far all that is good.
Yeah.
Okay. So to get to that Maven folder, I took out the terminal because I don't want to go through the whole hassle of finding the very first root folder and getting to Maven. All I did, let me delete that, is I dragged and dropped this into the terminal, because this is the string I'll need to put. Yeah, because this is the string I'll need to put into that bash profile, which was empty. Right? And remember how your bash profile was empty? I created a new.
What the hell is a bash profile?
You'll see. But basically, the point of the bash profile is every time you run a command from now on, I'm trying to. So Maven is a specific type of program, and in the binary, I'm trying to get access to this. All this is just to make this so easy access that I could do this. I could do Maven, and I could do whatever, right? And it'll run that program. Just like we put, how we have all those terminal commands you guys have used, right? Like ls, pwd, cd. There's a reason why you have access to that, because let me show you, because it's better to cement this concept if you understand why we're doing all this. Obviously, Maven is just something we just installed, so your operating system isn't aware of this just yet, right? But if you go to another binary, you see all these, right? If I go to ls, you see it. If I go to CD, CD is somewhere, maybe not here, but let me see if PWD is here. Yeah, PWD, it's there, right? The reason we have access to it is, if you look at it over here, so this folder is the bin folder, and basically the bin folder is right here. That's been specified by the operating system. So all of this we have access to, all these commands, which are just programs. Because we downloaded Maven, our system isn't aware of this just yet. We're trying to make it aware of it, right? Otherwise, we'd have to double click it, which I'm doing right now, and don't worry about this. But yeah, that's the reason why we're going through this entire process. But going back to it.
Did you learn all this in the course, or did you
No,
stuff you already knew?
This is just something you start picking up. I wish people told me about it, because it saves a lot of hassle down the line.
Wait, so what am I supposed to do? I have the bash profile and I put the two thing in.
Right now, I'm just trying to get Berm up to date. But does yours look like this? Except it has your.
Am I supposed to save it?
Yeah, save it, but just wait.
Okay.
But
wait, don't save.
Yeah, save it. Hit Control Save, Command Save. But it's not ready yet. But Berm, are you up to date with the bash profile now? So basically,
so that in that bash profile, am I copying and pasting it, or is that supposed to automatically just show up?
No, you have to copy and paste it. So basically,
okay,
right.
I got that part.
Right. So basically, I did download it, and I'm putting it in the resources folder, but I need to get to that Maven folder to get that final path, the one I'm putting over here. I copy and pasted the terminal. It presents it to me right away. I copy this piece, right? And initially, I didn't have all this, right? So all I did was create that, the variable name. I set the
MVN underscore path.
Yeah, MVN underscore path equals, and whatever I just copy pasted from here, I just paste it.
Okay.
My bad, Maz. So I just paste it right here.
I got that part already.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good. You got that variable name, right? But we still have to export it to the global. The path is basically just a global variable name that includes paths for everything else. Like you guys saw that binary folder I opened, the path has it. And just copy and paste this. I think I put that in the. Yeah, I did.
Okay. Okay. So it's just copy and paste. All right.
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to show up automatically.
No. So you save it, and then you do one last step. You source it. So type this command and type this. So basically, you're just sourcing it just to make sure all of this is correct, and it'll tell me is like a quick.
Should it also?
Say again.
Do I do that also? Source.
Yeah, do exactly as I'm doing right now.
Okay, so I should do it too.
Okay, I did it.
Yeah, all right. And hit enter. So if you see nothing, that means everything is good.
Wait, just to make sure, I'm supposed to do that too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically I hit enter and make sure, basically as long as it's not throwing an error message, you're good to go.
Okay, so source. And do I close the bash profile window?
Yeah, you could close it after. Doesn't matter. Since it's already there, the terminal will always have access to it.
Okay.
What exactly is this doing?
You'll see. All right. Are you guys ready to? You got that past that part, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now just type MVN, and now we'll just see if there's a direct access to it. So I type MVN and just hit enter. So you'll get an error.
Command not found.
Command not found, yeah.
Oh yeah? Let me see. And you sourced it?
Yeah.
All right, let me see your guys' screen.
Share.
Yeah, somebody's there.
Do I do it again?
No, hang on. Let me see if I could take control. All right, let me see what happened. And I'll do everyone. Oh, I always forget this. So after you do this, you have to reset the terminal. So let me do that. And everyone go ahead and do that too. Let me see if it works now. Fob, pull up the terminal, or Ish, whoever the screen I'm in control. No.
So do you have to go back to Code Boost?
Say again? No, it doesn't matter. It should still. Let me see. Oh, my bad. I think I know what happened. Okay. Yeah. Noob mistake. All right. I know exactly what happened. So we have Maven here, right? But where is the actual binary we're looking for?
In the bin?
Yeah, it's in the bin folder. So what do you think you have to do?
Add that.
Yeah. So
You guys are talking hieroglyphics to me. I have no idea what.
That's fine. No, this is not something
you went into another folder before bin.
Yeah, so this is what happened. Look, let me open it up from the get-go. So I got workspace, right? And I put a resources folder in. That's fine. I got Maven in. That's fine. And I'm looking for MVN, right? MVN, which is the binary I'm trying to execute. That's in the bin folder. So there's just that one level of I didn't run, right? So let me save that and let me source that. Okay. Now run it. Now you should be good.
So wait, what should we? What are we typing in now?
So now, after you've done all that, source it, and then in your terminal.
What do you mean source it? What does that mean?
Fi, you want to show?
Oh, what? Am I doing it again?
Yeah. You could source it as much as you want.
Oh, just type source, and then I think it was like this.
Yep. and then hit enter. Yeah.
MVN.
Yeah. So basically, we went through all of that.
So I'm still getting command not found.
Let's see. There's
There was something. What did you do before you did all this to fix it?
Share your screen.
Did you update your bash profile? Yeah, share your screen. Let's see.
No, but that's what I'm asking. What did you guys do? How am I supposed to do that?
Share your screen.
All right.
Okay, so let me request control. Then you gotta give me control.
It did.
It's not working.
Do it again.
It says I have it control. Oh, that's fine. I see your bash profile open, so just click to that. All right, so you didn't add that bin folder. Ish, did you add the bin folder? So basically, you see what we did, right?
Yeah.
It worked for you, Ish?
Yeah, it works for me now.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean over here like this?
Yeah. So save it and then source it, just like FID it. Okay. And now just type MVN, and we're good to go. All right. So now, and today we'll just set up. Now let me share my screen. All right, now we'll start a new project. So now this is me back in Eclipse. File, new. Other. You see
Maven. File, new, other?
Yeah, file, new, other. And don't worry about all of these steps. I'm just running through it just to have a basic project running. You'll be able to do this easily yourself later. And I'll explain what Maven is much later, but don't worry about that. So you'll see Maven, one of the folders. Click that as a drop down, and then you'll see Maven project. Double click that, and make sure to click on this, create a simple project. Skip archetype selection. Yeah, leave everything else. Everything's good. And next through it, group ID, let's put test, and for artifact ID, put just automation test. Actually, even better, do it like this: group ID automation, artifact ID automation. So basically, you'll see why I'm doing this later, but they use these values in your project later, and you'll never really get it. And you'll remember this part though, because we're assigning it group ID and artifact ID. So after you've done that, hit finish. And now you should have a new project on the side called artifact ID automation.
Yeah.
Okay, now open it. And then you'll see a directory called source test Java. Right click it and make a new class in it, just like we did before, except just call it execute with the main method.
Wait, what do we do?
So you open up your artifact ID automation class, right? The one we just created?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now in source test Java, you should see it, right? Because we all have the same archetype.
Yeah.
Just create a new class in it called execute. It's going to make this default package itself automatically. So let me know when you've done that.
New class and call it what?
Execute, just like we're used to doing. Right? And now we're almost done. So now you have all that set up. And
wait,
yeah.
It doesn't have, I would just type that in, the public string, public static void main.
Yeah. Just how you regularly
button
do
you're
it.
supposed to press.
Say again?
You can just type it in.
Yeah, you can do the same thing. It's not a big deal. So you guys are good so far?
Give me a second, hold on.
Okay. You good, Fa? What happened?
No, I fixed it.
Okay. All right. So now, lastly, go back to your browser and in the search bar type Maven Selenium. And click the first link, which should be mavenrepository.com. And after you do that, click the first one, Selenium Java. And you'll see a bunch of options here, but usually as a future kind of a tidbit, just go with whatever usages are the most. There are more recent ones, as you can see. It's just the versions of the Selenium package. You want to use the one that's most stable, and usually it's the one that has the most usages, which was back in 2018. So let's click that, 3.141.59. And then you'll see a little text field right here. Just click it, and you'll see it says copy to clipboard, so you don't have to actually drag it over and copy it. So copy to clipboard. Now go back to your project folder and open up pom.xml. Right, and you'll see this is basically empty, and now this is what you type, and this is the only thing you need to type. Dependencies. Save that. Enter and tab so it's nicely formatted, and just copy and paste, or just paste because you already have it. Tab it, make it look a little nice. It'll auto format for the most part. Say again?
Okay, give me a second. I'm a little behind.
That's fine.
You
So
have to do that again.
go to Palm Excel and then what?
So you remember how you copied this, right? Just by clicking it?
Yeah.
So that's already in your clipboard. So after you copied it, you go back to your project, and then in the side right here, this left panel, one of the files is called pom.xml. So that's the one you open, and that's the one I'm seeing right here on my screen.
Okay, give me a second.
I'll start over from the start, not a big deal. So let me know when you're seeing this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see this right now, right?
So under version, I put dependencies.
Yeah. So first you type in dependencies, and make sure it's dependencies plural, not singular. And after you do that, just format it a little nicely, and just paste. You don't have to copy anything, and it's not gonna format it right for you, so just format it for yourself. And after you do that, make sure to hit save inside the POM XML file. You guys do that?
I'm doing it
Yeah,
right.
I did it.
Yeah? Alright, everyone's good?
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
You're good?
Yeah.
And you hit save, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go back to execute and instantiate
Wait,
this.
wait. Go back. Something's not.
So what happened?
There's a lot of dependencies there. I don't have that many.
Show me your screen. Yeah, you know how originally I said to create a dependencies tag? You don't have
Yeah, I
a,
did that right here.
you only have a closing tag, you get it?
I did that right here.
No, you only have one closing tag. You don't have an opening tag. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let me share my screen. So this is what we started with. So you had a completely empty, this is what you were presented with. That's just what's created by default, this XML file. So before I even did anything, I did this. And this closing dependency tag, you could tell, just like here. Yeah, you see this forward slash? That's a closing tag, right? And you want to go inside it and make sure it's formatted nicely. So I have an opening tag and a closing tag, right? And inside is when I paste the dependency tag. So
Got it.
you're good. All right, make sure to hit save and go back to execute. And inside the main class, we're just gonna instantiate this. And I'm assuming everybody has Chrome in their machine. You should hit an error. Don't worry about that. So let me know when you typed it out exactly as is, no case differences. After you do that, hover over each WebDriver and Chrome driver, and you should see import statements. And just hit the import statement. So WebDriver first, and now Chrome driver. Sometimes Chrome driver seems to do this thing where it's saying it can't find it. Anytime it does that, let me see. I actually think that
It's not
Doesn't say it.
oh yeah, I think the D needs to be big too. Yep, there you go. It has to be capital C, capital D. Now you should see it. Did you guys import everything without issue?
Yeah.
Ish, you're good?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Yep.
fine.
All right, so let's stop here. This basically means that you're all set to go, and tomorrow we officially start automating. We did all of that, and let me summarize what just happened. I know there was a lot of steps. Maven, I'm gonna leave out for now. Basically what Maven did is really as like a summary. Different projects, you see how this project structure got created. Maven, that's what Maven does. So you see how we referenced it in that workspace folder. Basically Maven, I know we referenced the Maven through Eclipse, but that process we ran through Eclipse wouldn't have worked if it didn't find Maven somewhere, right? That's why we needed to put that in the background so Eclipse could even begin to use it. If you went through this file flow, if you created a new Maven project and you create a new one without doing that process, we did that first, it would just throw you an error and you wouldn't be able to do much, right? But what Maven did is it created this project structure, which you'll see why we do it later. And the POM part is the important part, right? It generates this. If we didn't, basically it's as simple as anytime we need a library from now on, we could just go back to this Maven repository. Anything we need, you go to home, it's not just Selenium, it's, people put up jar files, bundle up files all the time, they put it right here, right? And for you, where you would have previously had to worry about importing just a bunch of things, in here it's as simple as copying this and putting it as a dependency here. For right now, this is the only dependency we need, Selenium. And that's why we went through all that. But your environments are set up now to officially automate. But we're about to hit time, so let's stop here. And tomorrow we're gonna start officially. Any questions?
Is this something we need to know on the job?
No, not by heart. Usually you have everything set up, and trust me, I had the same fear at first because it's a lot of steps. Obviously, it's all in video, but don't worry about it. That's all I'll say.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
We good? All right. Good job.